Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to be talking about some of the challenges that might arise with the changing seasons, and we're also going to be talking about some things that you can do to better adapt to these changing seasons. As each day gets cooler and cooler, it is a sign that the seasons are changing, and summer is slowly slipping away. This can be very challenging for many people and can be very impactful to our moods, schedules, and routines. So, why do changing seasons impact us? One of the main reasons why changing seasons can be difficult is because days get much shorter in the fall and winter compared to in the spring and summer. We are exposed to much less sunlight, which can make us feel tired and sluggish. We will touch on this again shortly. These low energy levels can make it difficult for some people to find motivation and complete day to day responsibilities. We also tend to spend much more time indoors in the colder months, which means isolation and loneliness. As I mentioned, one important impact of colder weather seasons is a reduction in sunlight exposure, which can have large impacts on our overall mood and energy, and can also disrupt our internal clock, causing disruptions in our sleep and energy, and impacting our levels of serotonin. Serotonin, which is also known as the feel good chemical, is a neurotransmitter that we need to regulate our mood and energy levels. So, if we have low serotonin levels, we will have a hard time regulating our moods and might experience mood swings with low energy. A reduction in exposure to sunlight also leads to something called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. And SAD can make people feel mood springs and overall low mood due to a lack of sunlight exposure. Some ways to avoid experiencing SAD is by getting sunlight whenever possible, even if it's cold outside. You could also get an SAD lamp. And these lamps are created to mimic the sunlight and to try and regulate your body's internal clock, which improves your serotonin levels. Overall, it is important to note how common it is to experience some difficulties when the seasons change. You are not alone in this. So, what can we do to try and reduce these negative impacts from the seasons changing and be prepared for it? One thing that we can do is to pay attention to how the seasons changing impacts us personally. Everyone is different, so it is important to understand how it impacts you in your life. Some people may find that they get tired earlier in the winter evenings than they do in the spring or summer, whereas others may find that they struggle with waking up early before the sun comes up in those colder seasons. Once we know how we are being impacted by the seasons changing, we can adapt our schedules to accommodate these changes. For example, if you are one of the many who get tired earlier in the evenings as it gets dark earlier, it might be beneficial to alter your routine in the winter to allow time for you to go to sleep earlier, such as by making your dinner meal slightly earlier so that you can wind down earlier. This is just one example of how we can adapt our routines to benefit us personally. It is also very important to keep our health and well being in mind, especially during the colder months when flu, cold, and other viruses are common. Some ways that we can strengthen our immune system is by making sure we incorporate nutrient rich foods such as fruits, vegetables, and grains into our diet. Especially since we are exposed to significantly less sunlight in these months, we need to make sure that we are getting all the vitamins and nutrients that we need and consider our sources of these nutrients. So, for example, in the summer, we tend to get vitamin D from the sun, which is something that we lack during the winter. Eating foods that are high in vitamin D, such as eggs, fish, or dairy, can make up for that. Another way that we can adapt to the seasons changing is by ensuring that we stay active all year round. A great way to stay active is by going for walks. However, as Canada has a diverse climate, it can be difficult to set an exercise schedule when we can't always depend on going outside. To ensure we stay active, even when going outside isn't an option, we can stay active indoors. Some ways that we can do this is by finding home workouts that work for you. This might be stretching or yoga, which are great ways to get movement in and take care of our bodies. It can also be difficult to dress for the weather when the weather fluctuates throughout the day, especially when the seasons are changing. For example, in the fall, Mornings tend to be chilly, but the sun warms up the temperature in the afternoon, making it warm. Because of this, dressing in layers can be a great way to adapt to the changing seasons. Wear a coat and even a hat in the morning, with a sweater or a light piece of clothing underneath, if your body temperature fluctuates. By wearing layers, you can better prepare yourself to handle the changing weather. Another way that you can adapt to the changing seasons is by using candles and lights to create light in the dark winter months. In these dark months, it is important to keep your space well lit by using warm lighting and candles and even some blankets to add extra comfort and warmth to your space. In the brighter months, you can ensure to open your curtains and blinds, let the natural sunlight in, and open your windows for some fresh air. A final way that you can ensure you adapt to the changing seasons is by using the changing seasons as an opportunity to refresh habits. For example, a great way to do this when the season is changing for winter to spring is to do some spring cleaning to freshen up your space. Summer tends to be the best time for adventures and exploring the outdoors, whereas winter tends to be a good time to practice self-reflection and prioritize self-care. The fall season is a good time to practice journaling as it can help you navigate your emotions and thoughts as the cold months approach. The changing seasons can be a difficult time for many people. Routines change quickly, which can be challenging. By practicing some of these tips, you might feel better equipped to handle these changes and flourish all year round. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new that you will take with you into all new seasons.